I'm Charles Weiss, Commissioner of the Kentucky Department of Financial Institutions. AARP research shows that baby boomers and older investors, because they have money to invest, are natural targets for a wide range of unscrupulous practices. The investment might be an outright fraud, or it might be a completely legitimate product that is unsuitable for investors' circumstances. The investor could be subject to aggressive marketing ploys that conceal the risk, or the pitch is for guaranteed high returns. Before investing, investors should check with their state securities regulator to verify if the investment opportunity is registered and if the seller is licensed. In Kentucky, visit www.kfi.ky.gov or call 1-800-223-2579.
Seniors are targeted for investment fraud because scam artists know to go where the money is. At the beginning of 2008, some 79 million baby boomers who control $15 trillion in assets began to reach retirement age.
Investment fraud can take several different forms, actually. It could be a perfectly legitimate product that is sold to the wrong person. We call that unsuitable investments. It could be an unlicensed broker or investment advisor, or it could be a fraudulent product or theft of funds. So there are many different ways that this could happen, unfortunately. My office, the Department of Financial Institutions, takes complaints, and we also do investigations and try to take care of these things when they do happen. Unfortunately, many times, by the time we catch up with the person, the money is spent. So many times there's not a refund for the person as much as we wish there was. So we want to let people know up front what they can do to protect themselves so that it doesn't happen in the first place.
You may have had your portfolio set up for years and don't plan to make changes, but someone may try to convince you to switch to a new product, or you may be tempted to make changes because of uncertain economic times. We want you to know how to protect yourself from fraud and what to look for. Ironically, investment fraud victims are more financially literate and are more likely to listen to sales pitches. They are more likely to rely on their own experience and knowledge when making investment decisions. They dramatically underreport fraud.
One of the ways to protect yourself, probably the most important way, is to be wary. Just be a little bit untrusting and don't make a decision on the spot. Take the information home, read it over, and think about it before you make a decision. A lot of times the promoter will say, this is only good today, or get in on the ground floor, it's a limited time offer, and they may say it's only for you, try to make you feel particularly special. But the truth is, if it's a legitimate offer, it's going to be available to more people than just you. And it's going to be available for a period of time, not just today and not just, a short amount of time. So you should have time to think about it and maybe even to ask somebody else that you trust.
Here's what you need to watch out for. It's just as important to be cautious when selecting a broker or advisor as when selecting the appropriate investment products. The cons are pros and are very convincing. They are professionals. It's their job to convince you to part with your money. Also, they are often those who seem least likely to steal your money. Someone with lots of credentials, or a member of your local club or church. This is known as affinity fraud. Scammers gain your trust by speaking your language, living in your neighborhood, joining your clubs, and even going to your place of worship. Check out the seller and the product with the Kentucky Department of Financial Institutions before investing, even if it's a friend or family member who tipped you off. While you may trust that person not to sell you a scam, you don't know if they may have been a victim themselves. They say there's no such thing as a free lunch. Be cautious if you attend a free lunch investment seminar. Keep a useful phrase handy such as, "I'm not making any decisions today."
One of the lines from our presentation on investment fraud is that the cons are pros and very convincing. And it's true. They have offices, they have brochures, they have business cards. We think of con men as lazy people because they don't have a job. But actually, they work very hard, sometimes harder than people who have a regular job, because they need to make you trust them.
The best way to protect yourself is to be sure that you understand what you're buying. People who are really quite educated in financial matters have made the mistake of buying products they didn't understand. In fact, the national crisis we're going through is a case where a lot of really smart financial people bought investment products that they didn't really understand. It just was the hot item of the day. People our age group, because of the financial crisis, are going to be told, well, you should take your money and put it in a commodity, or you should take your money and put it in an annuity, you should take your money and put it here, put it there. Don't make that decision until you've had time to really study on it and get the information that we're going to help you acquire at the Scam Jam, and then make the decision whether you ought to move money around, leave it where it is, turn it into cash. Just don't make that decision without finding out first.
A lot of times people wonder why we include investment fraud in a presentation for seniors. Many times seniors feel like, well, I already have my investments set aside. In fact, I did that quite some time ago, and that's why they're worth something now. But the truth is, there could be a time where someone comes up to you, no matter what your age is, and has this wonderful offer for you that you need to check out. And so we want you to have the contacts and to know what to look for. And also, many people are invited nowadays to what we call a free lunch seminar. You know, we say there's no such thing as a free lunch, and in truth, there's no harm in going to them, but be aware that although it may be free for that day, they are trying to sell you something. And it may not be there on the spot, but it could be that they want to set up another appointment or come to your home. Be prepared to say no, or at least wait until you have more time to think about it.
Here's what you can do to make sure you don't fall for an investment fraud scam. Contact your state securities division to check whether the investment product is registered for sale in the state and whether the person selling it is licensed to sell that product in the state. Also ask if there have been any complaints filed against the person offering it. You may call the Kentucky Department of Financial Institutions, DFI, Division of Securities at 1-800-223-2579, or visit them online at www.kfi.ky.gov.